Welcome to Talking Town, everyone. We are back and meeting the opposition with Leicester City visiting Portman Road this Saturday in what feels like a massive game for both sides. Town are looking to get that elusive first win, while Leicester could push into mid-table with a victory. Joining me today to look ahead to the big match is Chris from Leicester Pod, LTiDtv, Leicester Till I Die. Don't forget, Talking Town is brought to you by Match Bingo. Play Match Bingo, win cash prizes. Every time you play, you support the life-saving work of the East Anglian Air Ambulance. Play Match Bingo, win cash prizes, over 18s only. Be gamble aware. So let's get into the chat with Chris. And with Leicester having changed managers in the summer, I asked him if 9 points from as many games has surpassed fan expectations at the King Power.
It's weird because we've got to remember, like yourself, we're the new boys. You know, we're back to being new, and we've got a new manager. He's learning on the job, and when you look at the games we've played, we've not had it as hard as Wolves have, obviously. And we had some pretty decent, what we thought. When you look at it at the start of the season, you look at it, you go, oh, that'll be a win, that'll be a draw. Might get a win, might lose that one. And I thought we'd do pretty well. So in a way, it's disappointing. But if I take my blue-tinted spectacles off, hey, that'd give us 38 points at the end of the season. I think that might be enough to stay up.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't worry. Don't you be worrying about Wolves. We've had the toughest start. Liverpool, Man City, back to back. That was our welcome back into the Premier League.
Yeah, no, I get. Look, I've got to say right from the get-go here, I absolutely love the Ipswich Town story. I love the story because I still think of us as a small club, if you like. And I live down here in Bournemouth, and I've lived down here since just before they went bust with the minus 17 points and their story of coming all the way through. And I love that. That's what football is all about. The dream that, one day that, you could be playing in the Premier League. Luton last season. And I just don't know, though, what you've got to do to get a win.
Well, hopefully, don't take this the wrong way, Chris. Hopefully, beat you on Saturday, but we'll see. Is this
still a draw? Come on, it's going to be a draw.
Well, maybe we are draw specialists. We've had 4 of them. I don't want to burst your bubble here a little bit, Chris. But is there still a nervousness that Leicester could get docked points this season, or is that kind of like being brushed under the carpet for now? What's the latest on that one?
Well, we won the case. We proved that the EFL and the Premier League are run by a bunch of numpties. They don't even know their own rules. They hadn't looked at it and thought, what's going to happen if a team gets relegated? Now, I think it was bad that Forest got docked points, and that's me speaking as a Leicester fan. I think it's wrong that Everton got docked points. When you look at what Manchester City do, it's not like they've got the huge fan base around the world that, say, United have. I don't know how they get away. We know Chelsea sell hotels. We were naughty. Yes, no club or a business, and clubs are businesses these days, they don't start the new financial year thinking, oh, wonder what happens if we'll go bust. Or I wonder what happens if we might get relegated. We'd finished 5th and 8th for the previous 3 seasons to that. We never thought we were going to get relegated, so we didn't budget for it. We weren't able to sell one, we always sell one big sales every year, whether that's Maguire or whoever, and that helps fund it. That didn't happen. Of course, getting relegated, and we just played the rules. We gave our share in the Premier League to Luton Town on the right day. We changed our financial year end, which we were allowed to do. Nothing we have done was breaking any rules or any laws whatsoever. We just did it very well to suit ourselves, as any club would. And it's unfortunate. Well, it's not unfortunate. It's fortunate for us that, we came back up out the EFL, so the EFL had no jurisdiction over us. And when they what they were trying to charge us for was when we were in the Premier League. And then what the Premier League were trying to charge us for we weren't in the Premier League because I say we changed our date, and we were literally in a no man's land. Now, how big is the Premier League financially? It's £1 billion business. And if they can't work out their own rules, and hopefully, again, it will say to sort of the other clubs, because you notice it's only the smaller clubs that are getting done, not the bigger clubs yet. And it's sticking two fingers up to the establishment, and if they don't know what they're doing, and look, I'm glad Nottingham Forest stayed up last season, or the season before, I should say, because even after the points deduction, because you should not decide football or any sport should be decided by whoever's on the pitch, whoever's on the whatever. It shouldn't be decided by men in suits around a table with a calculator.
Well, I totally agree with you. At the end of the day, it's the fans that suffer, isn't it? Because ownership comes and goes, players comes and go, and at the end of the day, it's the likes of us that are still in the stadium years later and having to feel the effects of it, isn't it?
Oh, and we're not, it's not that we're short of money. We've got very rich owners, thank you very much. And obviously not in the Newcastle or Man City bracket, but we have got the money. We're just not allowed to spend it because of the way that the PSR is set out.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you know it's nearly a decade? I was looking at this preparing for the show. It's nearly a decade since you won the Premier League. Does that still feel like? And then you've got presumably a replica over your shoulder there, Chris. Not the real thing.
Yes, indeed. No, it is the real one. No, it's not.
If you're listening to this on Spotify, everyone, Chris has a fantastic Leicester City background, which he called his man cave earlier. Yeah, it's superb. Does that still feel like a surreal thing to you to go and win the Premier League? And then what was it, 5-6 seasons later, you actually get relegated? I mean, both probably surreal things for different reasons.
Yes, and it just shows how football goes in cycles. I mean, I'm old enough to remember pre-Fergie at Man United when Liverpool were the top team and winning everything. Then it was United. Then it was Chelsea for a bit. Now it's City, and United fans kind of can't accept that their time has been and gone, and it might take them a while to get back to that. Although they're obviously getting very excited because they managed to win one game last night. But
we'll come to that.
Yeah, I'm sure. It does feel surreal, and I still watch it. I've still got the DVDs. That's showing me age there. I still watch them on YouTube because we did break the mold. We gave every other club outside of the so-called big boys that we could say to them, "You can dream." The disappointing thing is, and I think we might be in the Daily Mail, where the so-called Big Six owners all got together and said, that ain't going to happen again. Now, it wasn't the Premier League, but it was the big, they didn't like this little club coming through. All right, everything fell in our favour, but we did it, and it will never be taken away from us. And that's the thing.
It was a magical time, wasn't it? I was a big fan of Ranieri. I was really pleased to see him to do that. I mean, what was the catalyst to it all? Do you think it was timing? You had momentum coming out of the Football League, I suppose. The likes of Man City and Man United, Liverpool, blah, blah, not quite hitting the mark that season. And you capitalised on it, I guess.
We did. It's like, two cars, in a race fighting against each other, and another one comes through on the inside when they're not looking. And look, we'd lost in that famous, don't scratch your eyes, semi-final in the playoffs against Watford. The next season, we won the championship, and we broke all the records going. We came up. We had a reasonable start, including that 5-3 win over Man United. It went wrong then. We were bottom of the league longer than any other team's been bottom of the league and survived. It's the great escape, probably the greatest of great escapes, because it's 9 games to go. We were dead and buried, and then we only lost one in the last 9. It's like, what? And that carried on into the next season. I think it always does. And that sort of ending the season like that and staying up. And I tell you what Ranieri did, that he came in and he changed very little. He brought a couple of, there's a couple of players came in, but the squad was essentially the same. Although Nigel Pearson had gone and that was really for non-footballing matters. He'd kept Craig Shakespeare, rest in peace, and he'd kept a lot of the coaching staff. So that if Ranieri came in one day and went like, I think I'm going to try doing this, Craig Shakespeare turned around and say, bloody stupid, what he can't do that sort of thing. So it was a good combination, and it just no major changes, just a few little tweaks, and playing on the fact that we'd got, we'd had that great finish to the season before. And Ranieri is a great man manager. I mean, he managed expectations well. It was an absolutely amazing season. I was sat at work that season next to a Tottenham fan. My God, we had some banter.
I bet.
Everybody knew Leicester. I was doing interviews for Hong Kong and Australia, and it was weird. But yes, we needed Man City sort of announced they're sacking their manager with about 12 games to go. Klopp hadn't really settled into Liverpool. Arsenal were just Arsenal. United was still struggling. So it was a combination. But look, we won it by, I think, 7 points clear. No, 10 points clear in the end. So
very impressive. Really good. Really a fantastic story. Listen, Chris, we've had very similar. We're talking to managers here. We've had very similar summers, haven't we, with our managers? I mean, ours got linked to Chelsea, Man United, Brighton, and yours ended up going to Chelsea in Maresca. Was there a disappointment there that he left after such a successful season? Obviously, you pipped us to the title by a point, but been pretty much top all season, hadn't you? And was there disappointment there? And what is the view on? You could keep referencing them. Forest bringing one of their old managers in Steve Cooper.
Well, look, with Enzo, he was totally left field when he was appointed. We'd got relegated. We were literally on our knees. Everybody says, you're not going to go down. You're too good to go down. Rubbish. You're never too good to go down, because if you were, you wouldn't have gone down. So we were where we deserved to be. We lost twice, and no disrespect to them, but we lost twice to Southampton, who finished rock bottom, and we were just literally, like, God, what was going to happen? We hadn't been there for 10 seasons, and everybody was getting sort of linked with the job. I wanted your manager. I wanted McKenna.
Did you?
Yeah,
Be careful now, Chris. Be careful.
No. I mean, look, that's a compliment to you. I wanted somebody that would come in and know the division, the lower division. It's a bit like Martin O'Neill when he first came into us. He'd been at the clubs or he'd been at Ipswich in the different divisions, and he'd done well with Ipswich. So I would have definitely been happy with McKenna, and we didn't know who it was going to be. And then suddenly, like, Enzo, and it's like, what?
Who's this guy?
Six days ago, this guy was holding the Champions League trophy.
Exactly.
And it's like, wow, no, this isn't right. This is April the 1st, But it gave the club and the fans the buzz. We'd forgot. We didn't forget. We just ignored the fact that he'd only been a manager once before, and it was for about 12 games, and he got sacked. That didn't matter. He'd held that Champions League trophy. He was a
type of Guardiola. Exactly.
A Pep disciple. And of course, he came in and we had a fantastic, 17 points clear. I can remember being at a show. I went to see a couple of Sky presenters, and sat in front of me were two Ipswich fans, husband and wife, and we got chatted, as you do. And I did say to them rather cheekily, enjoy it. It's the only time you'll be in front of Leicester all season. It nearly came back and bit me on the butt.
Really.
So look, as much as though everybody says, Enzo's good and look at everything he's done and he got you promoted. Yeah, but at the end of the day, it was only by 1 point. We could have ended up with total egg on our face. And it was a great league. 3 teams on 90-odd points.
Crazy, wasn't it?
Promoted. Totally crazy. Whether his style of football would have done well for us, I don't think it would. This playing out from the back, and it caught us out a couple of times.
Like us.
Yes. As he's got at what he's got at Chelsea is, players that are a different caliber to our players. And I'm not putting, Leicester players down. Obviously, look at this. Look at the players they've got. Do you know what I mean? And they can get it works. Cooper is trying to introduce a new attacking style, if you like, although it's hard to believe when you watch some of the games. But, he came in at the start of the season. Yes, all right, the players that he brought in were his own, and you can argue whether some good, some bad. All the coaching staff left with Enzo because they're all Enzo's men. So he didn't have that kind of Craig Shakespeare person to sort of talk him through. The fact that he was from Nottingham Forest, I couldn't give a toss. If he keeps us up, I don't care who he's managed. And it's not like he's a Nottingham Forest born and bred. I mean, God sake, we had
Welsh.
Sorry,
He's Welsh.
he is exactly.
Okay.
So he's got nothing linking him to Forest. He just happened to manage there as a job.
Mm.
And I say Martin O'Neill was linked with Forest. Well, he wasn't. He was at Forest. Obviously, won
Mm.
won the cup. But so that doesn't bother me. It really, really doesn't. And he was one of three managers when Enzo left. One of three managers that I wanted because and it's the same for you this season. It's about finishing 17th.
It really is. Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And I don't anything over that's a bonus. And he did that with Forest when he brought them up. It was really his team that stayed up last season, even though Nuno was there. So if he can do that, yeah, I don't care, where he's been and who he's worked for.
Exactly. I mean, like you say, like Enzo's kind of laid the foundations for you, hasn't he, going into the Premier League? But is Cooper playing a different style? So we're not going to see you kind of like playing out from the back to the edge of the D. I mean, that's been kind of typical of McKenna football the last two, three seasons. What can we expect from Steve Cooper's side? Obviously, he's going to be watching in the director's box, isn't he?
He is. Yes, he is. And we took the way out of Nuno for having that pleasure when they played us at the weekend. So what goes around?
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
No, you're not going to see that at all. I mean, Enzo. Look, every manager has a style of play. Enzo's was in the Pep mould, which is playing out from the back, which is good if you've got players that can do that.
Yeah.
And what worked in the Championship isn't necessarily going to work in the Premier League. Look at Southampton as well. They're trying to do that. Look where they are, 20th. You know what I mean? We can't. You're going to get caught out way, way, way too fast. He plays 4-2-3-1. That's his preferred. So he plays with wing backs that Enzo didn't. He let a couple of wing backs go out on loan because he just didn't utilise them. We struggled in some areas, but yeah, we're not going to be playing out from that. I mean, with Enzo, at one point, the only player that was in Leicester's defensive half was the goalkeeper last season. Vestergaard defensive line was on the halfway line, and there was a couple of teams. I think Watford one that just tried to lob the goalkeeper because he was so far up the pitch.
Yeah, of course.
And it was ridiculous. You can't do that in the Premier League. You know what I mean?
Exactly. I mean, look, the key to staying up, isn't it? Scoring goals, Chris. Are you worried about where your goals are going to come from? Because obviously the inevitable happened, didn't it? Maresca come back and got Dewsbury Hall. And now are you kind of over-reliant on Vardy now, who's got obviously, 37, 38?
Yes, he is. Look, it is all about scoring goals. We scored 13 and we've conceded 17. Unfortunately, that was the Forest game that did us because we lost 3-1. But you're on minus 11.
Easy.
Wolves and Southampton on minus 13. That could be the difference between staying up and going down. Yeah. We are one of only two teams that have scored in every game so far this season.
Have you really?
Yeah, that's ourselves, and we're in very good company because it's the other city, Manchester. So there's just the two of us that we've scored in every. We've not won every game, but we've scored in every game. Vardy, he can't do. He didn't play last night. He didn't play last night in the Caribou. There's no way he can play 90 minutes. No, we are quite reliant on him at the moment. He's not as fast as he was, but basically, I think what you're doing with Jamie Vardy is just saying, just do what you want in training. You know when you've had enough, turn up at the weekend, get a couple of Red Bulls down you, get out on the pitch, And
That's it.
if
Yeah.
he's there, he's going to keep a couple of defenders from the opposition occupied.
And he's going to be lively in the box. He's what you might lose in fitness and stamina or what have you. He's not going to lose in his mind, is he? He's still going to know where the goal is. He's still going to know how to finish.
We had that with I think it was Kevin Phillips when we signed him. And no, Tony Cottee, that was it. Tony Cottee we signed from Malaysia because it was towards the end of his career. Yeah. And he never ran for it, or hardly ever ran for any ball because he had Emil Heskey there.
Yeah.
He said Emil Heskey did all his running.
Yeah.
He just had to use his brain to get in the right position to put the ball in the net. And that's what Jamie Vardy's doing. You know, we've got some youngsters. We bought some OAPs. I'm not going to deny that.
Notice that.
Yeah, but the goals, like I say, I don't care who again. I don't care who scores.
Exactly.
Cody got one yesterday.
Yeah, saw that.
So as long as they come in, and like I say, you know, if we're scoring at least one goal a game, which we are,
give yourself a chance.
Exactly.
Yeah. How's talking of goal scorers? He scored a worldie at Portman Road Boxing Day. LTiDtv. How's he getting on in the Premier League at the moment? Is he rising to the occasion, or is he flattering to deceive a little bit? He strikes me as kind of being a luxury if he's not quite on it.
Well, I think any player you could say that about, couldn't you? Really, last season, LTiDtv on the left and Fatawu on the right just tore defences apart.
Really good, really good.
LTiDtv is a little bit older than Fatawu. Fatawu, he is definitely flattered to deceive. He's one of those that, well, why beat one player when I can attempt to beat five?
I like the ambition.
Yeah. And you need that, but you need it tempered, and always willing to sort of. He wants to score the amazing goal, and rather than lay it off to a teammate. And it's just a case of he's just got to mature into that role. He's only 20. LTiDtv is not a lot. I think LTiDtv is only 21. Obviously, he did have a bit of time at Arsenal. We wanted, against Forest, we finally had the team that all the fans wanted. And we had LTiDtv on one side, Fatawu on the other, and it all went absolutely bog up. It did not work out at all. But sometimes with those players, they actually work better as substitutes.
Impact from the bench.
Yes. When the opposition's a little bit tired. And I just don't know. I think as annoying as it is, and everybody's having a go at Steve Cooper, really, but he's got to try and, he's no good just throwing them in if they're not, they're going to cost you games. And he has to kind of ease them in and get them used to it. But no, I'm glad we've got them and not you, sort of thing.
Yeah, well, we've got a similar player like Amari Hutchinson, again, similar age, someone who's like, the exuberance of youth, wanting to beat players, and they kind of drift in and out of the season. Then the fans start getting on their back, don't they? Then there's calls from drops to the bench, and then, like you say, you see the impact from the bench, and then they're back in the team again. So we've got similar players, to be honest with you.
Yes.
I was going to say, look, you had back-to-back wins over Bournemouth and Southampton, didn't you? You very nearly grab a very deserved point, what would have been a deserved point, at the Emirates. And then it kind of went a little bit pear-shaped against Forest. So just a little recap on those three good performances. And then what went wrong at the King Power against Forest then, Chris?
Well, first of all, Arsenal wasn't a particularly good performance. We were absolutely shite in the first half. And
second half, though, different story.
Yes, it was. Well, for some of it. But we were awful. If Arsenal had really been in the mood and got the shooting boots on, to be honest with you, they could have been out of sight, 4 or 5 easily. They weren't, and we punished them. Again, one of those cases where I don't care who scores. James Justin gets 2 goals. Unfortunately, towards the end, we're the new boys, and we've got to learn how to kill games off.
Exactly, we've been there.
Well, exactly. Last week, But yeah, so Bournemouth. That was a great win. It wasn't and when we look back at it, both that and Southampton, neither of them were sort of games where you say, well, great performances, fantastic, they can really be. Yes, we got the confidence from the 2 wins, Bournemouth, we went 1-0 up and we were holding on. We had, our goalkeeper was probably man of the match, which kind of says it all. Second man of the match was the goalposts. And, we held on and got the 3 points. And that, again, is sometimes what it's all about, winning ugly. Southampton, I don't know. I couldn't explain that if you gave me 10 weeks. 2-0 down. Again, they could have been out of sight. We could have got one back. El Canous with a lovely curling shot hit the post. And then what daft last 15 minutes,
Mad, wasn't it?
Well, where that corner came from, and Ayew, I said what a fantastic signing he was at the start of the season. I didn't.
One of your dad's army again, isn't it? One of your pensioners.
Yeah, it's literally on. That was just unreal. But again, we probably didn't deserve that. Southampton shot themselves in the foot, which they've been doing a lot this season.
Did it against us now? We scored in the 94th minute equaliser there ourselves. They were down to 10 men against you, weren't they?
They always go 10 men against us, and I felt a bit sorry for them because I did like what I liked about when we were in the Championship. And everybody says this, I like the refereeing because there was no VAR.
Yeah.
So, you've come up and you've not had VAR before. We've come down at not having had VAR for 5-6 years, however long it's been in. It was brilliant because if the referee made a mistake, and they did, we were prepared to say, we understand, because you're going to get it back at some point during the season where, there's no waiting for VAR. You score, you look at the linesman, his flag's down, you celebrate. I know, and that was great. So Southampton were a little bit unlucky with VAR because they could have had a penalty for shirt pulling with Jordan Ayew, funnily enough. And then, of course, Vardy gets pulled back, but he would have scored if he hadn't been pulled back.
That was a deserved red, really, wasn't it?
It really, yes, it was. You can't get much more of a nailed-on red. They always seem to get. When we beat them 9-0, and we live off that, even some sort of 5-6 years later.
We always thank you for that because that took it off our shoulders. Been with us,
yes. No, you're well. Just remember that on Saturday, and let us get the 3 points.
I'm not sure I can extend that far, Chris.
And then Forest. I don't know what happened with Forest. We've been screaming that we wanted Ricardo back in at right back. We wanted James over on the left and not on the right. We wanted Mavididi and Fatawu playing together. We wanted Winks back. We got everything we wanted, but the players just didn't turn up.
You just didn't get the performance.
The performance. Okay, there's a little, it's a bit of East Midlands derby, Cooper derby, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
But it was just, it's odd. Sometimes you can get away with 1 or 2 players not turning up, but sometimes you get games like that where you've got 8 or 9 not turning up, and we haven't played a good 90 minutes this season. We played a good 45 here and 45 there.
Long may that continue into Saturday, Chris.
No. I'm hoping. Look, it's going to be a bloody draw. We know that. We had 2 last season. You guys are the draw specialists. You know what annoyed me about you last season?
Oh, go on.
You were like the Black Knight, in Monty Python. Chop his arm off. Oh,
still keeps coming.
Carry on. And
it wasn't really like that. It was.
I used to do the watch-alongs, and I'd go, Ipswich are losing, and 89 minutes they're losing, and you'd have got a draw.
Yeah, or win the game.
And you'd get a win, And I used to hate you for that. As much as I love you, I hated you in equal measures on that one.
We've reached half time in our Meet the Opposition show with Chris from Leicester Till I Die. If you're enjoying it, then like and subscribe, and you'll never miss a Talking Town show as Ipswich's Premier League campaign heads into the winter months. And talking of which, don't forget, you can get a free roof check from SolarWise. Be wise this winter, be SolarWise. Get your free roof check. Just call Shane 01206 628 544. That's the halftime cuppa done. Let's get back into the show with Chris. No, I get that one. How did you Chris Wood got 2 goals, didn't he, for Forest against you? And we have a very similar style player in Liam Delap. Whether or not he'll start, there's rumours. He obviously didn't play from the start against Brentford to come off the bench because of rumours of a knock. Whether or not that's still floating around for Saturday. Did you struggle with? I mean, look, Wood scores 2 goals, but did your defence struggle with him? I'm just interested to see whether or not Ipswich can replicate that dynamic at Portman Road Saturday, basically.
When you look at the goals, the second goal, Forest's second goal, his first goal, it was straight, 45 and a half minutes. I mean, it was literally straight after kickoff.
Yeah.
And it was our own making. And this has been the trouble, It was a Winks playing a blind pass, and it wasn't a blind pass. He closed his eyes and was on a different, time zone, and gave the ball away. And a Coley, who's potentially a good signing, but he's new, so he's only played sort of the games that
The lad from Atalanta. So he bought from Atalanta. Yeah.
And he got turned by Chris Wood. And look, Chris Wood is the third highest goal scorer in the division. Second goal, you can't give any credit to Chris Wood. You've got to say Valtfe's absolutely gifted in that. The ball bounced. So as a defender, you don't let the ball bounce. And then him and Madsen Manson couldn't decide who was doing what. Neither. Well, Faye's. I can't even. It would be unfair to Headers to say that he headed it. He kind of just sort of went like that to it, and it just was no way was it ever going to reach Madsen Manson. And Chris was just popped and went, "Yeah, thanks very much."
Thanks very much. Yeah, exactly.
So he was very, very lucky. But I like Chris Wood, and funnily enough, for us, although we're on, we've conceded 17 goals. Our defence has been one of the better parts of our game.
Okay, I mean, obviously, we're speaking off the back of you losing to Man United last night in the Carabao, the 5-2. But that was very much a different. That's a periphery players, was it? Players that have been really on the edge of the squad.
Yeah, I think that was always going to be the case, wasn't it? Why couldn't they have waited until now to sack Ten Hag? You know what I mean?
Yeah, could have made the quarterfinals. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. What the hell? I mean, Man United fans are going to be so happy because they've won a game. Woo! Be like they've won the league and they're back and they're going to, smash it now. Look at the players they had on the pitch. I mean, it was a first team. And yes, I will admit they were playing with a freedom that I hadn't seen under Ten Hag. They've got smiles on their faces. All right, they were playing Leicester. They had pretty much I called it Ruud Hullit's job application team because it'd gone strong. The only one was the goalkeeper that
Van Nistelrooy.
Exactly. Yes. He hasn't got the job, but he was determined he wasn't going to lose that one.
No, exactly.
We had our sort of B team out, but look. Sometimes when you look at a score and you go, "Oh my God, 5-2," Leicester was kind of hiding, but no, we didn't. Yes, they had more shots. Yes, they had more possession, but it wasn't sort of 24 shots to 5. It was 24 shots to 17. 64% or 60% to 40. They did not overrun us at all, despite we had a mad 12 minutes when we conceded 3 goals, and that's what cost us the game. We sort of. I mean, at one point, I did think it was going to be like that 5-3 when we beat them. We were going to come back. But look, El Canoes finally got off the mark, courtesy of 2 posts. Hit the post, ran along and went in, which could have gone either way. That could have come out. We've seen that before. Connor Cody, like a silver fox going through again, he was gone unmarked. I think they'd taken a leaf out the Leicester City defending book last night. He just went in. But as soon as they got that 5th goal, that was it. The game was over.
Yeah.
And they didn't really need to sort of do it. When you look at the players that they brought on as well. So, look, it was the Carabao Cup. Obviously, you want to win every game that you're in. Of course you do. In the big scheme of things this season, am I bothered I'm no longer in it? No. It's not the priority.
We
Um,
we said that after losing to Wimbledon early doors on pens.
we can concentrate on the league now.
Exactly.
That's the thing, isn't
That's
it?
the line, isn't it? That's
But
the
look,
line.
we lost to a Man United. Yes, it was 5-2, but it wasn't a disgrace. We're not going to go, we didn't come off that pitch with our heads down. We gave them a good run, but their class showed, and it does, yes, all joking aside, the league is what we want to concentrate on. And hopefully that will carry on with 3 more points on Saturday.
I thought you might say that. I mean, look, we've spent about 100 million this summer, and you weren't too shy with the checkbook either, were you? You bought Skipping from Spurs in excess of 20 million. That Canoes you mentioned there coming from Genk in Belgium for about 21 mil. Then you bought Fatawu back, haven't you, from Sporting Lisbon, that Akoli from Atalanta, and then I think 5-6 million for that Jordan Ayew. And then Facundo Buonanotte is the replace. Have I said that right? Is the replacement for Dewsbury Hall? It's a fantastic name. Is the replacement for Dewsbury Hall? So, Chris, were you happy with all those signings?
Oh God! Right, hang on. Do you want to go and get a drink? We could be here a while.
Yeah, try and condense it if you can.
Yeah. No, I mean, look, Enzo left, so we got 10 million for that, for him and his staff compensation.
Yeah.
Dewsbury Hall was sold. We got 30 million for that. So we got 40 million for them two. That was what we owed PSR.
All right, so let's pay for that then. Yeah,
exactly. We knew the players that we were going to get. We couldn't go and splash out vast sums of money, but we needed to buy some experience. Skip, not everybody's choice. Not a lot. No. Everybody was happy, but I think he's going to be one of our better signings.
Okay.
He knows Winks from the time at Tottenham together.
Good combo.
Yeah. Akoli, I mean, he came on and within 10 minutes in the pre-season, I mean, on his first game in a Leicester shirt, he scored an own goal.
First impressions.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the partnership with him and FaZe has been developing.
Okay.
And I think, again, he's young. Might take him a season to get used to the Premier League because it does take some players that length of time. Here we go. The Corvereed Ayew Edouard. What the fuck were we doing?
Oh, okay. Now we're getting into the business here.
Oh my God! Now you've signed some players that I wanted, Schmodic and players like that.
Okay.
But you've gone down the young, hungry, no experience in the Premier League road.
Yeah, it's the risk.
Cooper's gone down the last season between them, Edouard and Ayew only scored 8 goals in the Premier League, but that could keep us up. So they've gone for the experience. Ayew, first thing he did when he came on, and as we're told he would by the Palace fans, he fell over, got us a free kick, and stopped a breakaway for the other team. They have got that experience. So Cooper has gone, and he said, "I'm not going to get blamed for us going down because we weren't experienced enough." Ayew, when he plays in that centre forward role, he's really good.
Okay.
When he's on the wings, not so. The Corvereed, quite honest with you, I'm 63 and I've got a beer belly, and I could probably play better than him. I don't get it at all. And Edouard, we looked at him when he was at Celtic and we didn't go for him, and now we have gone for him, and we're just saying why. Yeah. Again, no idea. And Buonanotte, we've only got him on loan. If Brighton and Hove Albion can let a player of his standing, a World Cup winner that played 50 times last season, let him go on loan to another Premier League club, and then Brighton are still sat in 6th position.
It's mad, isn't it?
Hell, what players must they have? I haven't seen them this season, but what player? Because Buonanotte, amazing. He does sometimes try to do it all on his own. We're not going to, I don't think we're going to be able to keep him because he is literally on loan, and he has signed an extension with Brighton. Now, that's either because they do want him back, or if they do sell him, they'll get money for him because his contract was up. Either or, I don't know which way it's going to work out. If he does go back, then El Canoes is the ideal replacement for him. But is he KDH's replacement? Yes, he is. Will he get more game time this season than KDH? 110%, because KDH has just gone to be a bench warmer at Chelsea.
Yeah, seems all
So
right.
yeah, I mean that basically sums our signings up. And I must admit, looking at you guys, how many did you sign in the end?
Do you know what? I don't even know off the top of my head. 10, maybe 11. There'll be people in the comments now going, "Why doesn't he know this?" I can't remember what it is, but all I can remember it was about 100 mil. Chris,
Yeah,
it's a lot of
I
money
mean,
for town.
it is, and fair play to you, giving it a go.
Mm.
You're not coming up and going, we're not going to do it. But I just wonder whether you bought too many.
Yeah, there's an argument there for that. I mean, we had this problem when Paul Cook came into Ipswich and brought in 19 players, the famous 19 players, and he famously said they're going to need time to gel. Well, by the time they did, he was gone and McKenna was in, right? By the Christmas.
This is the problem. You don't know what to do for the best, do you, really?
Exactly. Yeah, it's very difficult. If Delap doesn't play for us on Saturday, we'll at least start the game. Then we'll have George Hurst in the 9 position, who obviously scored against Brentford. Any regrets about letting him go, or was he never really part of the plan?
I knew this one was coming.
There's a great goal against Brentford last week. Very good.
Yeah, no. I don't know why, but he wasn't getting game time at Leicester. And it wasn't just one manager. You can't say, well, it was just Rodgers. There was 2 or 3 managers that were loaning him out. Now, if that's happening, you've got to say, what's wrong with him? As in at Leicester.
Yeah.
And because it doesn't work out at one club, doesn't mean that it's not going to work out at another. We saw what he did last season for you, by getting injured. I mean, great player. A lot of players, we shouldn't have let him go, and the fans like, we should have kept him. But there's no guarantee that he would have done that for us.
Exactly.
Maybe it's a different style. Our style didn't suit him. I'm pleased for the lad. Look, he's gone on. He's proven us wrong. He's doing well. It's a great season last season. Good luck to him. He will score against us. Look at Chris Wood. Ex-players always like to score against Leicester.
Roll on Saturday then.
Sorry?
Roll on Saturday then.
He'll get one, but maybe we'll score a few more at the other end. Vardy will get a few goals. But no, I mean, it's like, no regrets, because I don't know if it would have worked out for him.
Yeah, exactly. He gone on loan to Blackburn, hadn't really pulled up trees there, and then came to us, and we was all a little bit like that. Not done anything at Leicester, not done anything at Ewood Park, but he come in at town and he did well, like you say. It's just probably a good fit. It's been great talking to you, Chris. I'm going to finish off here, talk about our keepers. Big question mark about our keeper at the moment, Muric, who we bought in from Burnley for 8 million in the summer, replaced Haladki, who went to Burnley, ironically. On a free transfer, but he made mistakes against Man City. He's been kind of blamed for Brentford's winner in stoppage time on Saturday in the 4-3. How's Hermansen acclimatized to the Premier League? I mean, it seems to be a bit of an erratic character, what I saw of him last season, but from what I've seen in like dispatches, he looks like he's been making some good saves for you.
I don't know what you were watching last season. We loved him. Absolutely brilliant. We let Schmeichel go.
That was a big miss.
His presence was a big miss, because he had that voice, and then Danny Ward came in, who was 11 million from Liverpool. It wasn't, and he'd always done well in the cup games, but it just didn't work out for him. He started just as we started to play badly in the relegation season. And, if you talk to a lot of Leicester players, they'll all say, oh, Danny Ward cost us relegation, all this, that, and the other. A goalkeeper can only be as good as the defence in front of him.
Yeah, mostly. I agree with that, mostly.
Mostly, yeah. I mean, obviously they make mistakes, of course. But generally speaking, we've played some games where we could have had Gordon Banks, Peter Shilton, and Kasper Schmeichel in goal, and the defence was that shy that it wouldn't have mattered with a still block with 3 keepers. But Ward, he suffered, unfortunately. He's back in now as Cooper's number 2, although Everson has been injured. But Mads, he is. I'm surprised he's still with us. I'm surprised that Enzo didn't try and nip him off to Chelsea as well. But yeah, we love Mads. Yeah, he's got a mistake in him, but we'll say what goalkeeper hasn't,
Think back to Sarmiento, the Sarmiento equaliser at your place last season, last January.
Yes. Yeah. But you have to go with the fact that you've got to look at them overall. And am I pleased he's between the sticks? Yeah, I sure am. You know.
Yeah. All right. It's been great chatting to you, Chris. Well, let's get your prediction then. What do you think the score's going to be Saturday? I mean, you've given me you may get 3 points. It might be a draw. What are you really thinking?
Yeah, you've given me that as well, that you're going to get 3 points. Can I just say, in my defence, that I am, when we do the prediction league on my channel, I am bottom. All right, so don't,
Okay. Well, we'll
take
take
my
what you say with a pinch of salt then.
any good at all. I have a heart and a head
Good to
prediction
hear.
this season. If we both came off with a point, I wouldn't be surprised. I really wouldn't. Look, you guys are the draw specialists, and you know we've not managed to beat you for a while. But it's a big game, isn't it? It's a really big game. You know, you will be looking at this and going, "We've got to get our first win somewhere soon now."
Pretty much what we're thinking, Chris.
Yeah. And Leicester, no disrespect, but Leicester are a team that you could do that against. You know, if you were playing, say, Aston Villa, or I don't know if you played them at all yet, but
2-2.
okay. All right, if you were but let's say you were playing them, you wouldn't be looking at that and going, "Well, we might get our first win here."
No, exactly. No one was thinking that. A draw was like 3 points, basically.
Yeah. But you'll be looking at the Leicester game and going,
"Yeah,
we could get this. We could get this." We have got 9 points, and like you say, you'd swap places with us, you know, straight away. We want to, we know we've got to do well against the teams that are below us. We've beaten Southampton. We've drawn with Ipswich. We've drawn with Palace, and we've drawn with Everton. So we can't afford to lose to you. So I'm going to go with my heart, and I'm actually, it's going to be a high scoring. I'm going to go 3-2 to Leicester.
Oh my God, what a game that would be! All right, Chris.
I'm not being awful. You'd go to Brentford away.
It could well be. It could well be. It could well be. So look, it's been great chatting to you, Chris. Where if all the Talking Town people,
by the way,
what's my prediction?
You get that quiet. Come on.
I think we're going to beat you 2-1.
2-1.
Yeah, we've got to get the win. We have to get the win, Chris.
Yes,
we've got to do it.
A 6-pointer after in the 10th game.
It's mad, isn't it? Yes. It's mad, isn't it? If people want to watch your show during the rest of the season, where can they find it?
Basically, just as it says there, LTiDtv. Put that in any of the socials or in YouTube, and I should come up.
So there you got it. Great chat with Chris from LTiDtv. And the good news is the content doesn't stop there on Talking Town. We are back Friday night, 8 p.m, as we count down to the Foxes visit in Portman Road. And you can join the Talking Town community at the Our statue on Portman Road full-time this Saturday for all the immediate post-match reaction. And a big shout out to our sponsors, Stone Market Osteopaths. Don't live your life in pain. Call Freddie 01449 613 633. Tell him the Gov from Talking Town has sent you. We'll see you next time.